Good evening, Nation's Corner family, friends, and fans. That's right, it's 7 p.m. Saturday night, and you know what that means. It is time for yet another edition of the Nation's Corner. I am John in South Jersey, and joined by the usual cast of characters with me tonight. Guess who's back? Back again. Yeah, she's back. Tell your friends. I am joined, of course, by the great and powerful Deb Housen. Hi, Deb.
Hi.
And, of course, all the way from Monrovia via the Long Island Expressway or North Shore Turnpike. Either way, doesn't matter. You still wind up out there. He is the one, the only, soon-to-be Grandpa Monrovian Mike. What's up, brother?
What's up, everybody?
What's happening?
Chilling.
I don't know.
Yep. Soon to be
I
Papa.
Yeah. I think maybe we should just end the show right here now then, because that's really like the only thing to talk about, right? I mean, we're still on Grandpa Watch for Mike. Deb's back, and okay. Good show, guys. We'll see you all
private. In private, we talk about wrestling like probably 80% of the time. So I think we'll be able to find stuff to talk about.
I am absolutely sure we will find plenty
maybe
to talk
we'll
about.
Maybe we'll start off first of all to say God bless the Iron Sheik, the number one Baba. We loved him.
We love you, Baba.
Yesterday was a year anniversary, I believe. I believe it was yesterday. But yeah, we miss him. We miss him very much. We miss him very much.
Yes.
Definitely.
Yes, we do.
And as we all know, his last words spoken before, unfortunately, he passed and left us was "Fuck the Hulk Hogan."
Of course it was.
Of course. Couple other things.
Son of a bitch! I come back and I still fuck that motherfucker.
You forgot the AG1 number one. You got to get the sponsor.
No, it's not. They're not sponsored right now.
Oh, okay. All right. Never mind. I'm just saying. Okay. All right.
No. And I lost all the weight now, so I can't do the Snickers anymore.
Oh no!
I cut back drastically on the Slim Jims.
Yeah.
Man.
You know.
Well, you're looking pretty slim yourself. So
you are, sir.
It's working. It's working.
I'm in the 240s. I haven't been that weight since the second grade.
Can't wait for you to bust out them leisure suits and corduroy.
I'm in size 42s and they're getting loose already too. So
very cool. Keep it up,
congrats.
brother. Keep it up.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about some wrestling because that's what everybody's.
Go to my Poshmark if you need any fat pants. Don't go to Melons. Go know.
Right. Go shop Elder. Go shop Castle Monrovia. All you need, all your clothing needs, and even now the Hindenburg size.
I knew one little line would get John going. For some reason, you know what, John? We've never even talked about movies, but yet and TV shows, certain sitcoms and shit, and I always have an idea like what you'll like. Like the only one we always knew was Smokey and the Bandit because we talk about that like
incessantly,
all the time.
And that absolutely is.
Yeah, that's Tony's favorite.
That's Tony.
Yeah, and it's like if somebody doesn't like Smokey and the Bandit, I mean, what's wrong?
They got to leave. They got to go.
You don't need that negativity in your
life.
Off
is the direction you can fuck if you don't like.
Exactly. Thank you.
At least one and two. At least one and two. Three.
I'll throw out obscure honeymoon lines or easy money lines, and and I'll just hear you, or you'll come back with the other lines.
Of course,
it's
the things you know. Deb's looking at us like I was away.
You guys are two peas.
Yeah, I missed that. I came back for this. I babble about shit I don't know about.
Wouldn't have it any other way.
But what were
Shall
your
we talk about some wrestling?
Hell yeah.
okay, why not? All right. Let's start off with the easy one. Let's start off with the easy one. And now enhanced for your entertainment. Right. On the Peacock, live from the UFC Apex Center in beautiful Las Vegas, Nevada, NXT Battleground. Very interesting, albeit short card. I have not heard yet if they are adding any more matches than the ones we know of and see here on the graphic. But wow. Talk about just a really great card as usual for NXT. Since he's now adorned with his gifted chef hat. Shawn Michaels and them down there, they cooking. They are cooking big.
Mm-hmm.
And again, I think I just counted it's 6 matches total, unless they've added anything else. But
that's it. That's usually what they throw out there, and it's like a perfect. It's perfect. Doesn't end too late, and the matches are always friggin' bangers. You saw that.
Yeah.
You saw that lineup there.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. And everything. I mean, that we're accustomed and used to NXT, especially WWE as well, telling great stories leading up to these things, and great, seeing great promos, great build. A lot of stuff going on, especially with this pay-per-view as well. For a lot of first times.
Yes.
First time outside of. We'll get to him in a minute. Easy with that. Easy. Take a drink. Take a drink, Thirsty. We'll get to that. A lot of first times. First time outside of first time at a legitimately UFC branded and owned venue, the UFC Apex in Las Vegas, which first and foremost, just on that alone, I was going to tune in because that's very cool, because again, this is something that you never see wrestling at, period, of any kind. This is
right.
It's a UFC and MMA arena. First time matches, and now I'll defer to you, Deb, as you so eloquently displayed for us. The inception, and I don't want to say return, but debut in ring of All Ego Ethan Page, who has finagled his way and evidently strong-armed Ava into signing a contract for him. His very first match is with none other than Trick Williams for the NXT title.
Yes.
Wow.
Yeah, Ethan Page came in, made a statement. He's going to show these NXT people how it's done.
He's all ego.
He is.
He's all ego. And
or the running from Karate Man. Karate Man's gonna make
no, I didn't. I have feelings about that.
The fans have spoken. We want Karate Man. If you don't know what I'm talking about, Google it, bitches. I'm not here to educate you.
Yeah, so he came in, he shot a shot, he called out Trick. And he got his shot.
He did.
So
he's also the one that took out. He's the one that took out Trick.
Right.
Yeah.
And he's
if you're gonna come in kicking doors down.
Exactly. Yeah, he said he could have sat at home and just had a paycheck, and he didn't want to do that. He's the worker. He has really worked his ass off to get into the shape that he's in. Obviously he's been training with Cesar Bonani, as well as a bunch of other wrestlers have been working with him as well. He's kind of become like the personal trainer to wrestlers. But Ethan has worked his ass off to look the part. We know he can talk the part. We know that. We know he can wrestle the part. It's just a matter of getting the eyes on him to make him to let him show that he's the star that he is. And
Yes,
I'm
absolutely.
excited for this opportunity for him.
Mhm.
You know, he never really in AEW, like he did the stuff with Dan Lambert and, you know, whatever that was. I can't even remember
Yeah,
what they
they
were
had
called.
Men of the Year with Scorpio
Yes,
Sky,
Men of
which
the Year,
was
yeah.
which
Yeah, and he was paired
and
up with Scorp, which was good for the time being at the
right.
time, and then Scorp got hurt.
Mhm.
Then he had the whole storyline with Matt Hardy and all of that happened. And Matt Hardy has even said on his podcast, like, everything that they really did with that whole story, a lot of it happened on AEW Dark. A lot of it, you know, like storyline wise, they did things on Being the Elite. But you know, Matt Hardy has said himself that they had to pretty much take it upon themselves to tell the story that they wanted to tell with those characters at that time, because the machine wasn't behind them. They weren't
No.
getting the TV time spotlight that Matt Hardy felt that they should get in that. And for the most part, that was really the last that we saw of Ethan Page. For the most part, he had, you know, a couple matches here and there.
Yeah.
That was really it. So I'm really, really happy that he's getting a chance to showcase himself on a bigger stage.
Yeah. I agree. And I go a little further back about knowing about Ethan Page, back with his TNA run when he was with Josh Alexander as the North, and famously Karate Man, and all that. And when he was leaving, he had a wonderful send off match and promo for that when he went to AEW, and you know, and not against him at all. I was excited for him to get to AEW because it was a bigger platform, but it just kind of it never really got a chance to get off the ground. So, and yes, you're absolutely right. He's very talented in ring and out of ring. And I just want to let fans know, don't judge him by AEW. That was a very, very restricted version of Ethan Page you saw. Watch what he does now in NXT, because I honestly believe that this is going to be a tremendous platform for him. And honestly, he's in the right place now. And I can't wait to see exactly where they go with it. And starting tomorrow night, 8:00 in Las Vegas, when him and Trick Williams get in the ring. But let's go back to the graphic for a second, because there is another one. I have a tie. Actually, a three-way tie. Too. Do you?
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
The props. Right? You do? Okay. You can put it on. Don't hang yourself with it, but
I won't hang myself.
Here's the thing. I have legitimately in my own mind a four-way tie for what the best match of the night is going to be here. And I'll start off with one of them. The final for the Women's North American Championship is going to be a car crash. It is going to be spots all over the place, and it is going to be 5 young ladies absolutely killing themselves for our enjoyment, and I am here for it every minute. This was a hell of a tournament and a hell of a set of matches to set up this final, and if you look at the 5 women involved, you can legitimately see any one of them coming out on top of that ladder holding that inaugural title.
Yeah. I'm looking there. Yeah. Sorry, Deb. Jordan Grace is you're talking about, I'm sorry, I got lost in the picture. I can't see the exact picture, but I know I'm rooting for Sol Ruka.
Okay. Deb, do you have a pick?
I don't have my glasses on. I can't really see. I have to like squint. I'm old. It's a squint to see this little image on my computer screen. Yeah, I'm gonna go with Sol Ruka as well. Definitely.
Okay. I'm going.
She's definitely my favorite out of those.
Good picks. Good picks. I am going for Miss Yeehaw Bitches herself, Miss Fallon Henley. But,
Fallon, yeah, because
I'll move on.
Heels are always better with the briefcase.
Absolutely. Her new attitude and heel turn in NXT, I am all here for. I was a huge fan before and even a bigger fan now. Let's talk about the NXT Tag Team Championship, which is actually Nathan Frazier against just a couple of good brothers in the big LG, Luke Gallows. That's right. Luke Gallows and Carl Anderson looking to go too sweet and become tag team champions. I love this match just for the fact that here is a team in Axiom and Frazier that are way over with the NXT crowd. And say what you want about the WWE talent has to come down, main roster talent. No. It's the fucking Good Brothers. Okay?
Yeah.
These guys are this isn't just like something they threw together. It's fucking Gallows and Anderson. And I know they're getting older and they can't. I don't care. It's going to be a fantastic match. My heart wants to see the Good Brothers with gold. I don't know if it's going to happen, but it's going to be a very entertaining match.
I would love to see them with the gold. I don't give me any crap about their old. Have you seen Carl Anderson's abs lately?
Pretty much everybody.
Come on.
They
ain't old.
They
ain't old.
Okay.
Gallows just had a baby. Well, his wife had a baby, but yeah, they are not old. I'm sick of ageism in pro wrestling. That's got to stop. Put some straps on.
Well, I absolutely. Let's talk about that for a second because there was once upon a time in many aspects, and wrestling being no different. If you were 40 years old, that was it. You're over the hill. And even in professional sports, that if you were 40 years old, that's it. You can't do it. But look around right now. Most of your big names and your big draws in wrestling, guess what, folks? They old. They're 40, and they are still cooking with high heat.
Why don't we take the graphic off? We're covering Elder's face.
Oh, are we?
Unless he wants to be covered.
Well, that might be.
Now I'm done scratching myself.
Do you want me to go into my classic Briscoe Brothers not cosmetically pleasing promo?
Oh God.
But 48 anymore.
But
you look at, like I said, a lot of your top names and draws right now, they're over 40 years old or close to it.
Well, the difference is between now and in eras past is that these days they are much more health conscious. They are, everyone is for the most part an amazing athlete. They take care of their health, whereas back in the day they were hookers and blow every single night. And
beer and cigarettes in the locker room. You're right.
Listen, Rick, the nature boy partied hard every night, but he was up early, pumping out all that alcohol and sweating it out.
He was sweating it all out. Yep.
He was working it.
But these days, everybody
he's still doing the same thing.
For the most part, most wrestlers are very health conscious. They're very fitness conscious. Like they are really taking care of their bodies on a whole different level to be able to have more longevity, even, when they have injuries and stuff. If they weren't taking care of their bodies so much, all these injuries that a lot of people have would be career ending. But with the level of fitness that these guys are at these days, they're going through injuries, doing the rehab, doing what they need to do and getting back out there.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And that's, again, Everybody's like, oh, that, yeah, you know what? Shut up, IWC, you suck. Another match on the card. And this one I'm really interested in just because I don't know. I mean, I really like Wesley. I loved him since he was back in TNA as part of the Rascals. His run with Zachary Wentz in NXT. His
Keep that in
departure,
mind
his
right
solo.
there.
What?
Keep that in mind right there, the Rascals.
I cannot wait. We're going to get to that later on. But but it's the NXT North American men's. Excuse me. Have to specify now. The North American men's North American title. Wesley, who is a former champ, had to give it up after winning it shortly after due to injury. Was out for a long time. His subsequent return back in the ring against Joe Coffey, which Gallus Boys. Another just overall bad dude from across the pond. Mm-hmm. Oh, but yeah, there's a third guy, the actual champion, the absolute monster that is Obafemi. And all I got to say to Coffey and Wesley is good effing luck. The Obafemi is a monster. He is everything that they have billed him as, and this dude just likes to chew up people and spit them out. And again, this is going to be a super physical match. Like I said, how Wesley
let me just give them their last rites.
Yeah, well, especially Wesley has. When you look at it, that old saying, one of these things is not like the other. Yeah. That's Wesley in this match.
For real.
And
you know what Mark Henry says? I'm different.
Yeah, that's Obafemi.
Obafemi is different.
He's different.
He's big, but he doesn't lumber around. He's
highly.
Oh my God!
Highly athletic. Doing again.
Not somebody you want to piss off.
No,
for sure.
Highly athletic. He's got that fast twitch, instant, explosive strength. Like I said, man, good luck, Wesley. I just hope you don't get hurt again in it. But I absolutely see Obafemi winning that one. I'm building here, and we're going to talk about this one now. And obviously, this could be considered the main event of the night. And let's talk about the first times. Roxanne Perez, your NXT Women's Champion, taking on the Juggernaut, Jordan Grace. That Jordan Grace, folks, if you haven't been paying attention. Yeah, that Jordan Grace.
I should make
the TNA Knockouts champion.
Make a Pop-Tart chopped meat sandwich right now.
In on her honor, absolutely, yeah. Thick Mama Pump.
If you don't know who Jordan Grace is, if you're a WWE fan or a strict NXT fan, and you don't know who Jordan Grace is yet, you're about to.
Absolutely. Thick Mama Pump's gonna come wreck shop.
They all searched her out. Whoever didn't know about her searched her out when they saw her come into the Royal Rumble. So they have enough advance warning. Their little flick of thumbs on their phones, they can search it out.
Absolutely.
Google it.
Exactly, but still, how cool! Just in general, even if this wasn't title or anything, how cool is it that here is a champion from another organization coming in on a NXT PLE, and taking on their champion. Just that alone, it's if you needed any further indication, folks, that it's not the same old WWE, that we are in the Paul Levesque era. Here you go.
We are now.
Tune in tomorrow night, 8:00 on Peacock, because and even Mike and I and Steven on the show last week, I'll say it again, we said we could sit here for 2 hours and fantasy book TNA/NXT matches. And I'm here for every bit of it.
You know what?
And pretty much immediately when Jordan showed up on NXT, was that last Tuesday? When Jordan showed up, pretty much like the entire TNA roster took to Twitter to be like, hey, I'm here too.
Yes. We have seen that. Joe Hendry was in WWE headquarters. Joe Hendry,
you know
say
what?
his name.
Yes.
Joe
He
Hendry.
was in
I was
Stanford.
clapping to what Deb said, and I clapped twice because you said Joe Hendry, and
Yes.
it looks good.
But
Kayfabe, brother.
if you paid attention to Drew McIntyre's social media, Joe Hendry is in the WWE headquarters. But again, and this is going to be absolute, regardless of anything, a match between Roxanne Perez, and
I still say
Jordan
Roxy
Grace
too.
is going to be a fantastic match. You know, we're all familiar with how well both of these ladies work. It's my strong indicator as match of the night. However, this one speaks to me on so many levels because, ladies and gentlemen, we are going underground. In the UFC Apex Center, you have, which in any form, to me, is a fantastic match. Lola Vice versus Shayna Baszler in an underground match. Yes, 3 times, yes, effing please. Because for the first time, I believe, well,
thank you, Sean. May I have another?
Yes. But here you have 2 legitimate trained fighters. As in, these aren't people that were wrestling that train MMA or mixed martial arts on the side. These people both came from the MMA world and made quite a name for themselves in the MMA world before they became wrestling. This one is going to be a banger, period. And I cannot wait. This is my pick for match of the night. I will fight anyone that says different.
Well, I say different, so
I might only have 1 leg, but I still got 2 hands. You catch a boat.
It's good because it's 5. It's 5 matches, right? 5 or 6? 5 matches, 6 matches. And
I don't disagree. That will be an amazing match. I just think that Jordan and Roxanne are going to be the thing that everyone's talking about. That is what everybody will be talking about.
Okay.
Come Monday.
I absolutely agree.
You can't beat that star power. And just the unprecedented nature of what we're seeing here with TNA coming in to NXT.
Mm-hmm. And who might show up as a surprise?
Exactly.
Right.
There's another thing. So we heard this week on Busted Open, Bully had a bit of an issue with the term forbidden door.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm gonna call it the prohibited portal. And so we have an entire generation of WWE fans. And his argument was it's been done before. Every other company other than WWE does this all the time. It's nothing new. And yes, that's correct.
Mm-hmm.
And obviously in the territory days, it was normal. That's just the way things were. Yes, that's correct.
Mm-hmm.
But in WWE, we have an entire generation of WWE fans who don't know what it's like to see wrestlers from other companies on WWE.
Mm-hmm. Right.
Don't know what it's like to see WWE actively partnering with other companies.
Yes.
And maybe swapping talent back and forth. You do my show, I'll send this person to do your show.
Mm-hmm.
We have 20 years of WWE fans. Almost 25 years of WWE fans who don't know what it's like to see that type of thing. It's special, and yes, WWE is kind of getting back to being part of the wrestling community rather than isolating themselves in their own little bubble. And it's so awesome to see. And yes, Tony, prohibited portal, trademark that.
Pro wrestling team phone right now.
But yeah, it's so cool to see. Yeah, we saw Bully go on a bit of a tirade this week.
Well, that's what Bully does.
About that.
That's what he does. Throw napkins in the air, go on rants, and crab cakes. But I don't
have any napkins right here.
Well, we'll work on that next time. We'll fix it in post. But I could not agree with you anymore, Deb. And you're absolutely right. This is unprecedented in many forms. WWE has never, and my recollection, ever, few isolated sort of tangents, but no, they have never done anything like this at this level. And literally, when you think of that, they could have had the pick of any wrestling organization to do this with, that they chose TNA. I think that's great, number one. And yet again, I will go on this will be my quick rant. Ladies and gentlemen, if you are not watching TNA wrestling, you are wrong, and you need to fix that immediately. If you're just hearing about TNA now after Jordan Grace's appearance on NXT 2 weeks ago, you are wrong. You are so wrong. You have been missing out on so much. And for the fact, the other thing I find very, very cool is that it is Jordan Grace, the TNA Knockouts champion, that's been the selected one to do this with. I can't think of a better person to do that with and really show that we're serious and this is what we're doing. And like I said, Shawn Michaels got the chef hat now. So courtesy of Jordan Grace. And
for those of us who have been, aware of Jordan Grace for a few years or more, we have seen her growth and the sheer upward trajectory that she has taken. And it was really only about time that she, got a shot at being on WWE, got a shot at being on that biggest stage. Those of us who have seen her over the last few years, it's like, yeah, that's a no-brainer. Put her on national TV.
Mm-hmm. Yes. She seemingly has worked and developed herself into basically being custom made for television and television wrestling. And like I said, if this is the first shot, it's a hell of a first shot. And as we have already alluded to many times, God, where do we go from here? In the words of Sam Roberts, speculate wildly.
Yeah.
Because literally, and my whole take on the Forbidden Door is it's not a door. The prohibited portal, whatever you want to call it. Whatever you want to call it, it's been kicked and smashed to a million pieces. Everything is wide open now. Everything across wrestling now is wide open. And again, we have always sat and looked at, if this person, that person. And as much as I criticize, I give Tony Khan a lot of credit. He is the guy that made a lot of those dream matches and things that we never thought we would see happen. And continues to do so, and I'm thankful to him for doing it. And for God's sakes, John Bay, GFY, just GFY with that. They don't. Half of them don't even work there anymore. I digress. But again,
trust the process.
Yeah, I know. We said the same thing about Mir. What happened?
Trust the system.
What happened? Yeah.
Trust the system.
Trust the system. The system holding all the gold in TNA, but in that case, yes, trust the system. But again, we're in this time. We have been on such this high with professional wrestling across the board in general, from indies all the way up to the biggest promotions, that, you know, everything is just seemingly hitting on all cylinders. You know, there's never been the amounts of popularity and attention being paid to, oh, you like wrestling. If it ain't right, we like wrestling. There's a line in Paul Heyman's Hall of Fame speech about, well, it wasn't about, oh, you like wrestling, but it's very true. And for those of you who don't know, it's censored on there, but go watch it and you'll see exactly what I'm talking about. Something about some things, but anyway,
about some things.
It's one of these. It's like, and newer fans, they have no reference. Newer fans may not have another frame of reference. They know what they know. They've known what they've grown up on. Like, you know, mine and Elder's perspective is very different than yours, Deb, just because, well, we're older and been watching and involved in it longer. Right. So, you know, and again, but I can't think of a time where things have been this hot. You know, you've had good runs from different companies and different things going on, but across the board, everything is red hot right now, and I just think it's fantastic.
Yeah, we've all heard, you know, the stories and the anecdotes, or seen comments online from about people just recently getting into wrestling. And I think a huge part of it is not only WWE doing so many big things right now, but the social media presence that they have is just outstanding. So, you know, there is a lot of, especially younger people, that are just getting into wrestling within the last year or two. And that's really awesome. Like, I will welcome any new wrestling fans. You know, I won't be the person that says, you know, oh, you're not a real fan just because you just discovered it. Like, if you just discovered it, if you're interested in it, if you see some clips on TikTok or Instagram or whatever, and you think it's cool or interesting in any way, just do a little history research, learn the history. That's what I did. You know, when I got, I've said this before, I was a very on and off casual viewer for years until I really got interested in more of, like, you know, how I am now, like a everyday, you know, this is what we do kind of thing. And yeah, you just go on Peacock, watch old shows, watch all the documentaries you can find. Go on YouTube, just watch anything and everything, and learn the history. It's just it's awesome to see so many new people getting into wrestling right now.
Absolutely, cannot agree more. Welcome all. Come on in. The rumors are true. We do
the
have
water's
cookies.
Fine.
Yeah, we do have cookies. Nope.
Much.
Well, but we do have cookies. I can verify we do have cookies.
Don't worry, we got that stuff that turns color if anyone pees in our pool.
That's a lie. That was not me. That was a lie. Anywho, let's.
God, I hope they don't have that stuff in the pool I'm in.
Yeah, that's you. That's the least of their problems, is you peeing in the pool. Changing gears, let's talk a little AEW. And the biggest thing that pointed out or was pointed out to me this week, as far as AEW goes, was the in-ring return. Well, no, not in-ring per se, but live appearance of a promo from one Mr. Maxwell Jacob Friedman, who came out and, in typical MJF fashion, laced out a 12-minute promo that laid everything and anything out that he wanted to talk about. And whether AEW fans like it or not, and seemingly they really like it, judging by the crowd response, Max is back, and Max is ready to basically pick up where he left off. And I will say, I've always kind of low-key liked the Burberry. I thought it was a little different look, but Max Friedman coming out straight up homage to Andrew Dice Clay absolutely popped me. The leather jacket, the boots. I was like, my man is in his Dice Man era now, and this is where we're going. You know, had his new T-shirt that's available on Shop AEW. But again, you know, here was a 12
which I
minute,
have to buy.
Right, which everybody will be now. That'll be the new thing. Everybody is a wolf. But again, here was, like I said, it was a 12-minute uninterrupted promo of just Max in the ring doing what he does. And it absolutely solidified, to me anyway, why he is what he claims. He is, now he says he is the very best and he is better than you, and we know it. And that is majorly true. But this guy is on. He looks in phenomenal shape. Whatever his time off from injury and everything, he just wasn't sitting on the couch eating Doritos, you know. And here and it seems kind of funny because we were just getting used to the fact of not having MJF on AEW, and not really knowing, having a clear distinction of what was going on. And
you realize how much we missed them.
Well, there's that, but now
I didn't just realize, I knew.
Well, hey, I mean, we did miss them. We couldn't wait. You know.
I've been saying.
I loved it, you know, and you know me, as the heel in me was hoping that he would sign with WWE and just keep it all quiet and just I don't care about it either way. I just wanted to see a meltdown of the internet. That's why. I just wanted to see
it. That's what it would be. And
you know,
that we can
give it time. He'll get there.
He's still young. Don't worry. He's not even 30 yet. He's got plenty of time.
Yeah.
I know that. I know that.
But again, like I was saying, did
his fake tattoo wear off yet?
I don't know. He might have. I mean, it's inconspicuous. You'll never see it unless, because he wears wrestling boots in the ring, so you'll never see it. But regardless, here and there.
What did he do? Look at Cody's tattoo and said, "I'll hold my beer." I gotta.
If he was going to do that, the tattoo would have been on his forehead, because that's the only thing that trumps the neck tattoo.
You know what?
No. Tyson already did that.
You know what Peter Rosenberg said on his podcast? He said, you know, he did the tattoo, but he's also smart. He ain't dumb. He put it in a place that's going to be covered by his wrestling boots.
Right.
Plus, it was the poker chip with the letters AEW in the middle. You know, let's say something happens and his time at AEW doesn't end well. He can just go ahead and get that filled in, and then it's just a poker chip.
He could get the tattoo erased like Timeless Tony Storm did.
Right. Have it altered or whatever else. But but yeah, again, we were just getting used to not having MJF here. Now he's back. But my question is, AEW has been, and slowly but surely, starting to really develop things as far as characters and telling stories and having more than just, they still put together, Tony Khan, don't get me wrong, Tony Khan still puts together fantastic matches for the sake of matches. You want to see them just for other than this person versus this person. I've always wanted to see that. But there's been starting, you know, we look at, of course, Timeless Tony Storm and the work she's doing. You now have the EVPs, Matthew and Nicholas,
annoying the fuck out of everybody. Yeah,
exactly. But again, yet another reinvention of Chris Jericho now with the Learning Tree. Hi guys.
Hey guys.
Hi guys.
Thanks, guys.
Which is awesome. But again, and not to say it's not great, but where does Max fit in with all this?
He fits in where he wants to fit in.
Okay. Well,
because he is someone that will demand and command that spotlight.
Okay.
He's salt of the earth.
You're right, and I agree with all that. But right now, all right, let me be fairly critical for a second. You have Swerve Strickland, who is your current AEW champion, which, in my opinion, his while I'm a huge fan of Swerve, I don't do the Swerve dance. I don't do Prince Nana dance because I'm white and I can't. And we're reminded of that every week on AEW programming because no one with Caucasian persuasion can do it. Even the white girls can't do it right. And I'm looking at you and the rest of them, Deb. I don't know where you left your rhythm, but evidently you didn't bring it to the arena.
Hey.
But
I have rhythm.
But
wow.
I'm just saying.
I have rhythm.
We're not
thrown under a bus.
I'm just saying.
Faster than Darby Allin, thrown under the bus.
He didn't throw himself under the bus. He final destinationed himself. But anyway, I digress.
You know what? You know, John Bay, Granny does get a pass because you know what? That lady,
Granny, that's cool.
God bless her. We love her.
And to be honest, if you could be
ladies are the backbone of pro wrestling.
Right.
They always have been.
I'd be glad she didn't stab him with a pin. Because we know that's
listen. Don't.
But again, here's Swerve Strickland, that is your AEW champion. And I'm sorry, his title run so far, I mean, yes, decent, good matches and everything I expect from Swerve, but it's not been anything,
We need somebody chasing after him. We need a heel breathing down his neck.
I see them.
Not this match every week. You don't need a match every week. First of all,
at least he spoke on Busted Open about being a fighting champion and that's he kind of talked about building. He's building,
right?
But you're right. He does need that major opponent. Being a fighting champion and having a match every week is one thing. But you need that rivalry to really cement your championship.
Yep,
I agree, and I don't know if anybody else is caught on this, but this was something that have been watching and looking at. We may be starting to see something like that because Swerve has been awful snippy about the EVPs, Matthew and Nicholas. At times, and some backstage stuff and everything else. They haven't come quite out and said anything, but it's almost like they're trying to, Swerve may not be exactly on board with everything the EVPs are doing and this and that. Right. And I'm really hoping that kind of develops into something.
I would love for him to say, I've had enough of your bullshit. I'm the champion of this place.
Right. And that story in itself would be fantastic. But going back to my original statement, where does Max fit in? Because now, obviously, the only intention or only thought on most AEW fans' mind right now is, when does Max get the belt back? Honestly, that's where they want. Obviously, that's where the AEW fan base seemingly wants to go. But like I said, you have Swerve there now. You have also
it's only
have
logical to want to see MJF back in the championship picture.
And I mean, you can't deny MJF is the number one guy at AEW, but he has serious contenders for that crown now. One being the Willie Goat himself, Will Ospreay.
Mm-hmm.
Will Ospreay has blown up, bruv, as far as being over with the AEW fans. So again, and it's a good thing. And if they follow through on all of it, it's going to be fantastic. But it's kind of crowded right now who the number one person is, because when I say number one person, thank you. When I say person, you also have to remember you have Mercedes Moné there now. That is, poised to be and without argument is the most famous person in AEW, period. She crosses not only, we know Sasha Banks in WWE. She's part of Star Wars lore now. And all that with her work on Mandalorian and everything else. She is the most famous. And
and the freaking George Clooney sent her a bottle of tequila to congratulate her on her AEW debut.
Yeah.
George Clooney.
So, but again, so it's one thing I fail, and that goes back to the Ye thing. It's played. I think one problem that AEW seems to have, and hopefully they can correct, is they confuse the fans too much, because I find myself confused all the time. Like Dave's famous rant the other week about, yay for everybody. Well, here comes Sky Blue. Yay. Oh, she just hit Mercedes Moné in the back of the head. Yay.
Yay.
I mean, this might be the way they're trying to produce their wrestling, that, they can cheer everybody, which, okay, but I'm sorry. This is a sport and the business built on good guys and bad guys. And when you don't define who's what, you leave a lot of interpretation. Now, but the if you want people to boo you, be a heel and be booed and lean into it, and absolutely, be Dom Mysterio.
So Tony says in the chat, he brings up MJF and Adam Cole. I know Tony hasn't been able to kind of keep up with everything, but MJF kind of like killed that whole thing in his promo. Pretty much saying that's over. This is a different MJF. This is a new MJF.
He kicked Adam Cole in the balls.
He did. He did, and to be honest, I'm a little upset about that, because I wanted to see them finish that story out. And I mean, and while he says whatever in his promo, it's not to say that they can't at some point, especially now that both of them seemingly are healthy and we're looking at an imminent return to Adam Cole back in the ring. But I was like, man, And as much as MJF can do whatever he wants in AEW, it's going to work. But man, finish what you had, because this was actually a pretty good story with the devil that they did in AEW before, injuries and etc. did all that it did. But
that's the unfortunate thing, is it was a really good story and it did have us invested, but then they both got hurt, and then it was like, like, what are you going to do? Like, It was unfortunate. And now I think so much time has passed that I think it'd be difficult to just kind of continue where it left off, especially with MJF kind of debuting a whole new character,
this new iteration of him, which I'm excited to see. I want to see, where he goes. I absolutely understand. He is that good. He is that talented.
Yes.
And again, like I said, he is, the guy on AEW, but like I said, there's a lot of other. It almost seems like AEW to me has always had this reputation of they don't give you the follow through. They're great at giving you the big ooh yay, the big fireworks display, but then and afterwards you're just kind of staring up at an empty black sky and like, okay, now what? And they have gotten a little better, but the thing is, now you have so many people that are in need of that it's kind of all getting lost in the shuffle.
So Seth brings up in the chat about Wardlow. So I love that MJF had to correct AEW social media. Because at first they called him the Lone Wolf, and MJF corrected and said, no, that title's taken. I'm the Wolf of Wrestling.
Right.
And it tagged Baron Corbin. But then Wardlow comes out and posts and, it's basically like, oh, so you're calling yourself the Wolf now. So do we see MJF taking on Wardlow? Do we see Wardlow coming after MJF and saying, like, I've been calling myself the Wolf for how many years now?
Group.
He is, and I still don't quite understand where he fits in with Undisputed Era. I don't.
He's kind of like the enforcer in the background, kind of.
John, it doesn't matter. You know why?
Why? But I would like to see Wardlow on his own without the rest of them saying, because of course there is history with Wardlow and MJF. So it's something very easily they can transition to. And again, I like Wardlow. I like seeing Wardlow on my TV. I like Wardlow coming in and powerbomb symphony people and being the
we
big
just need
monster
it
that he is.
consistently.
Right. And that's the other thing that we don't, we don't get to see it, and where AEW doesn't seemingly have the follow through. Now, again, but where does that leave?
Yes, Undisputed Kingdom, not era.
Well, it's the same. The semantics.
Semantics.
Whatever it is.
Copyright.
Boom.
Copyright laws.
Boom. All right. How's that? It was still different than when it was the Kingdom in Ring of Honor. Were you going to say that too? Anyway, again, it's one of these things. AEW has seemingly so much good going on, just that maybe I am. And let's face it, any wrestling company right now has a hell of a shadow to try to get out from under as far as WWE. Right. That is, that there is no higher, there is no pinnacle. Your fandom ever aside, you can't, and the fact that WWE, especially over the last 2.5 years, has not rested on its laurels. It has not rested on its place at the top or anything. They have hit the gas just as hard and continue to do so. So now it gets even harder. So I'm hoping that Tony Khan can figure it all out.
Yeah.
And give us.
I think the key is, we've said it before. I think it's something that you said a couple weeks ago, John. You can't be better than, be different than.
Mm-hmm.
And I think AEW is starting to really build that different than. You're not going to take WWE viewers away from them. It's just, at this point, it's just not going to happen. You have to carve your own niche in the pro wrestling world. Yeah. And it seems like they are very much kind of leaning in towards the New Japan, lucha style. Mm-hmm. They have the partnerships with New Japan and CMLL, and now supposedly AAA people are allowed into that fold as well now. So I think they are really starting to make an effort into not trying to copy WWE, not trying to be like WWE, but trying to carve their own path and being different than. And if they really kind of stick with that, it might be tougher to get that mainstream audience because you're different then. But I think there's still enough people out there to kind of create a whole niche for yourself, separate from WWE. You're not gonna get the casuals, because the casuals are firmly with WWE and they're not leaving.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
But you can make sure that you're different than enough to get all those pro wrestling fans who maybe aren't into WWE. We all know a lot of people who are wrestling fans that don't like WWE.
Sure.
I see it all the time. I see so many people that on various chats online that are wrestling fans that just, for whatever reason, don't care about anything that WWE is doing.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think AEW is really starting to carve that niche out for themselves and build that different than.
Yes. I hope they continue to do so. Honestly, I do. Because at the end of the day, obviously, nobody wants to see AEW. Nobody wants to see any promotion go away.
Hell no.
With this, less opportunities and availability for our friends that we know are, for wrestlers to work is never a good thing. And we went through a very dark time like that where there wasn't. You had WWE and you had indies, and that was it. And you literally had this giant pool of people all trying to get into that brass ring of WWE, and just, a lot of people had to struggle for a while to get that opportunity thing. So more venues, more areas, more places for these people to work is absolutely fantastic. But what I also wanted to touch on real quick as far as AEW is, do we see a world that I'm prefacing this by the Forbidden Door is their next big pay-per-view coming up. And we're starting to see matches. We're starting to see more CMLL talent on AEW. The Ace, President Tanahashi-san from New Japan, sat on the whole post-media scrum from Double or Nothing or All In.
He was protecting Tony.
He does get fear. He does get fearful for his life at times. So I understand that. But is that the whole thing is and I just, for me, and I have to say Forbidden Door this time. I don't want to hear about copyright. It's the actual name of their effing paper. I have an issue with that. Here is the Forbidden Door. This whole pay-per-view being set up as these are matches of people from AEW and other organizations from around the world that you would not normally see and not normally get, that you were bringing them together for this pay-per-view. Why in the hell is your main event for it an AEW champion versus an AEW champion? And don't tell me because it's Will Ospreay. No, Will Ospreay is a signed, sealed AEW talent and holds an AEW belt. Why not have Swerve go against, even if they did Swerve against Moxley for, no, not even belts on the line, but here at least it's the New Japan champion, I don't even know who CMLL's champion is right now. I don't, but why do that? I find,
someone might know.
You can't call it, you really can't call it Forbidden Door right anymore to me. They kind of shot themselves in the foot because all the people they would have done, we love to see Ospreay come over from New Japan to wrestle at AEW for that. Okada was again, but you own them guys now. They're your con, so you're almost like I said, you're shooting yourself in the foot where you can't have those guys anymore. So sell it as that.
So I'm not, I don't keep up with New Japan like some other people do. So if Neil's still in the chat, maybe he can inform me on this. New Japan, it seems like they've lost a lot of their big stars recently, obviously with Okada and Ospreay leaving. Is it just that they're in a rebuilding phase where they need to build up the next group of stars? Because you're right, this Forbidden Door is very AEW centric. I've seen that criticism online as well. Very AEW centric. So it doesn't really last year and the year before, it was, pretty much a good mix of AEW against New Japan people. But now all the New Japan stars went to AEW.
Yeah. And those that didn't go to AEW went to WWE.
Yeah. Is it just that they don't have that next kind of, the second tier ready yet?
That's a very good question, and I agree with that. Nothing for nothing, regardless of how great it is for us for fans. New Japan is taking quite the hit lately.
Yeah.
As far as their star, I mean, you have arguably your top two stars go to another company in Okada and Will Ospreay. They absolutely have to rebuild their own promotion first and get their whatever next crop of stars are going before they can think about who are we going to send over. So I get that it seems that they're in a bit of a lull right now, but in this day and age you can't really afford that. and I don't know. I don't. And traditionally with Japanese wrestling, as far as their champions and who their top people are, is it's kind of always been a slow build. They will, there's a progression on how someone becomes a top guy. Kenny Omega did it. Will Ospreay, Okada, even going further back, Tanahashi. There was an absolute progression that you could look at and say, okay, he hit this level, then he moved up, and then they were that top guy. So I don't know if they can still do that in this day and age, but they're gonna have to do something, just for nothing else, the health and survival of their own promotion, much less what they do from here with AEW or anything else.
Right.
And also along them lines, while they seem to this they also lost Julia. Julia is out and will be showing up at NXT sooner or later when she's done with her new Marigold promotion obligations and heals from her injury. But they're setting it up again. AEW is looking to shoot themselves in the foot again. You have the New Japan Strong Women's Champion Stephanie Baker going against Toni Storm. Well, how long is it now till we see Stephanie Baker is All Elite? Which would be again another hit to them. And I get it. You want people to be on people want to be on the biggest platform and the biggest exposure and make the most money that they can make, let's be honest. But again, it's almost like AEW keeps trying to sell this Forbidden Door. Oh, and we're bringing in. But who are you bringing in? Who really are you bringing in?
Yeah. Maybe they take a break from Forbidden Door after this one.
I think
maybe they don't do one next summer. We'll see how New Japan is at that point next summer. Maybe they take a break from it and bring it back the following year.
Yeah,
that'll make it more of a spectacle. If they take 1 year off from it.
Well, and I absolutely think that they're, like I said, they're kind of just playing themselves out with this. It should be something very cool and very different and make people want to tune in. And I'm sure, the AEW pay-per-views always deliver, and they're always, always very entertaining, regardless of the stupid, $50 price tag for them. But that's another whole rant I'm not going to get into now this late in the show. But if you're going to keep going with this, you have to make sure you're perpetuating it with different things that you can't normally see on AEW.
Yeah.
So, but since we are speaking about AEW and Collision is on now.
Yep.
We're going to start wrapping up. I want to throw a quick shout out to a very dear friend of myself and a very dear friend of the Nation's Corner. And I am wearing her t-shirt tonight because she is taking on Toni Storm. Yes, the gymnast assassin. Miss Frosted Mini Feats herself, our friend, dear friend, Lady Frost, who got a hell of a video promo last night on Rampage, and rightfully
getting cold in here.
It is. I
gotta put on my glacier mask.
I'm very, very excited to see Lady Frost tonight.
Yes.
We had an awesome time watching WrestleMania with her in Philly.
Yes. I don't plan this shit, everybody. I don't plan none of this shit.
But she got a very, very a very nice promo package last night. It was a Toni Storm promo, but it was about her wrestling Lady Frost tonight. That All Elite graphic for her is coming very, very soon. I have a very, very, very strong.
I hope so.
It should be. It's about damn time. So. And equally,
she's been on Ring of Honor fairly regularly.
Yes, she has been on Ring of Honor and doing very well in there. Another Ring of Honor regular who is starting to be shown more and more on AEW television, and is on tonight in a match as well. Of course, I am talking about one half of my badass kids. That is them two kids out of Atlanta, Robin Renegade, one half of the Renegade twins with their sister Charlotte. Again,
They'll get you
Yeah.
some.
yes. I adore and love them to death. I treat them as my own
Yes, they're
daughters.
the best.
And again, I think Robin is definitely another one, especially with her work recently on Ring of Honor and being shown more and more on AEW, that her banner is coming soon. And I cannot wait, because I will
hope so.
jump up and scream like a proud father when it does.
Yes.
But
Yes, we will.
I guess we're going to wrap it up, since we went over, and we'll get yelled at, but I don't care, because in our defense, we were
Yelled at by who?
We were left unsupervised. Who?
Ooh,
Well, yeah, because Deb's back. Well, that's why we went over, because Deb's back.
Oh yeah, it's just because of me. Yeah.
Yes, that's all.
Well, let me just tell you something, Mr. First Row. You don't tell us what to do. We tell you what to do.
First row.
My
Hey,
God.
I want to
Wait
shout
a
out.
minute.
She's defending her title tonight. She just
Yes.
won it. It's her first title match.
All that
The
good
Good
witchy
Witch,
is.
Good
Kaya McKenna.
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah.
The
Have it.
conduit of karma.
Yes.
Send her good karma out there. Wish her luck. She's going against the gift of Gab. And
Yeah, Gabby Ortiz.
yes,
Worthy
Gabby
contender
Ortiz
for her
is
title.
That's, you know,
lately.
that's good. That's a formidable first opponent to have.
Yeah.
And good luck to her, and
Yes.
send
I
all
just
that
can't-
good witchy charm to her.
Yes. I just can't believe we had Iron Sheik from the grave channeling Santino Morella.
I
can't
know.
get that.
Well, it's you know, it's the Mongrovian Sheik. We
Oh,
look
okay.
alike.
Yeah.
Oh,
I
that's true.
would never presume to be the great Bubba himself. No.
Mm-hmm. All right. Okay. I guess that probably be
All right.
It's incomparable, and also I would also like to say in my defense, I'm no fucking Will Sasso. Okay, give me a fucking break.
You're our Will Sasso. You're our Will
yeah,
Sasso.
that's a 5 and dime Will Sasso you got yourselves.
It's off a wish, but you are.
And by the way, is Will Sasso? You know, guys,
He's
people,
the best.
if you don't know who I'm talking about, you have to know who I'm talking about. Just look up Chris Van Vliet's interview with Will Sasso, and also watch the great Mark Henry interview. 2 great interviews. I mean, Chris Van Vliet has been like hitting home runs out of the park.
Oh my God! Every single episode of Chris Van Vliet's show is killer.
Listen, he's been going to another level. I have to say, and, you know, we've always been fans of his. But just like Busted Open, the guy is on another level. Maybe it's a tribute to how popular wrestling is. You know, it's not as hated and you know, frowned upon as everybody thinks it might be, or some people might think.
And we had Chris Van Vliet on our show in the previous iteration back in 2020 when he was just kind of starting out with his podcast. That might have been my first interview, in fact, because we had him and Snake Sabo on the same episode, right?
Yes,
that was
that was the first interview that I did with Snake Sabo and Chris Van Vliet. That's wild.
See, but that's what we do here. This is what we do here at the Nation's Corner, folks. We take these, you know, budding people with a dream and a desire. Now look, you know, Snake Sabo went on to become a famous musician.
No, actually it was during the pandemic, and anybody went on anyone's podcast.
Oh my God, yeah.
Because we were all crazy. Hey, look at us. We created the show. So you know what? Out of a bad tragedy and horror in everyone's lives, we did this. So
it's good when we see these young and up and coming guys, you know, make good and become something.
It really is. You know what? The whole industry, whether you're behind the curtain, in front of the curtain, behind the broadcast table, on a podcast, using cheap microphones like I have, it doesn't matter. We're all, you know, it's fun. Good, clean fun.
Always.
Good, clean fun.
Always
well,
good,
sometimes
clean
not clean. Sometimes not clean.
Well, yeah, you know, I defer to Pat McAfee's disclaimer he plays at his show. There may be some cuss words because that's how humans in the real world talk. So if you are young, please seek permission before listening any further. Thank you.
Yes.
P.S. Don't sue us. The Pat McAfee Show.
Yes, and welcome to Raw. We know you just saw murder, rape victims, and autopsies, and someone get their throat slashed.
Oh no!
But now we got
We can't say holy shit.
We can't.
The holy shit
All
that's being chanted in front of all the kids that are there in the audience.
Too late.
Damn it.
We were so good. Hour and a half. We were almost at it. Almost.
John, you know this firsthand.
And CW blocks out the blood and go to a CP.
When we go to the Atlantic All-Star shows,
yes,
those kids in the crowd are
worse. Absolutely brutal.
You know what? You want to encounter a bunch of like midget cannibals? Go to IPW. Go to the ISPW show, man.
Oh my
God! Those kids will eat you alive if you fuck with them.
Tommy Fierro's family.
Man, yes.
Family. It's. I think it's like the school. It's like I don't know. He's starting them young because they're going to be crazy wrestlers soon. But all I know is you see those kids running around. Man,
just let them go.
Don't mess with them with the wrestlers, man.
Keep all hands and feet.
They got a couple of big boys.
Yes.
Besides their dad rubbing the hell out of him. He'll kill you
for another 10 minutes.
We will. I know. I was trying. We almost
off
made
the
it
rails. Let's go, baby.
Almost. Anyway,
you can find me at That's So Debonair on Twitter and Instagram, and as always, click the
link. You gotta click the link. Like
click
she
the
said.
link.
Click the link. Click it. Go click it.
What
right
they
now.
said.
Anyway,
okay.
Mike, if you're done ranting and raving, tell the folks how they can interact with you. Why? I don't know, but
why would anybody want to interact with him?
Did they really?
You never know. Anything is possible in this world.
No, God, please, no.
All right. Okay, John.
Nobody wants to hear from me. My mother doesn't
Anyway.
even want to hear from me.
Well, if you are so inclined, you can catch him as it says there on the screen at Mongrovian Mike. And I, of course, am at Twisted Metal Fab on the Instagram and the Twitter. As always, hashtag Nation's Corner on location. Got a whole bunch of different shows and things coming up as far as that to be looking out for. And if you're out and about seeing the shows, support independent wrestling, support women's wrestling. As always, let us know. Give us a tweet. Give us a Instagram post. Give us a shout on Facebook with the hashtag Nation's Corner on location. And of course, you can always follow the exploits of the most dangerous weapon in professional wrestling. Of course, I am talking about the AK9K at Ass Kicker 9K on Instagram, and stay tuned.
Send him stickers.
New stickers coming for
V3?
a version 3.
I got an evil kid sticker if you want one.
Oh yeah,
AK9K V3.
Yep. We are going to version 3 very soon of AK9K, so be on the lookout for that when it finally
Thanks, Tony.
arrives.
Get Wi-Fi, damn it.
Who is this Tony guy?
Finish that house, y'all.
Oh, that guy.
Miss
Him.
our brother.
Just somebody I used to know. That's okay. Anyway, folks, thank you all for joining us tonight for yet again another.
I miss the Justice, Tony. I miss her so much.
Yes, he is good, Bubba.
But
thank you for
fuck that guy in the front row.
Just trying to end the show. Just trying to end the show.
Yeah, baby.
Anyway, folks, thank you all for the chat tonight. Thank you for being so lively and interactive with us. And join us again next Saturday night, 7 p.m. You know the drill.
Rest in peace,
share, and
baby.
subscribe.
We miss you and love you.
For myself, for Mongrovian Mike, for Deb Housen, we will see you all next week.